How's it going, everybody? Spaceboy here, and in this video I want to go over the way I organize my playlists for exporting them whenever I have a gig or something like that. When I first started DJing, organizing my playlist was a little bit of a challenge. From the beginning, I felt like I was picking tracks that were under the same genre umbrella, but didn't necessarily work together in a set. For example, some would be techie, some would be minimal, some would be whatever. Over time, I think I've started developing my taste in a way where I understand which songs work together with which other songs or tracks. I think it's two skills. So it's not just organizing the playlist, but also being able to hear which sounds should go in which folder of playlist, because you want each category to be consistent within the playlist. In general, you can create playlists based on whatever. You can do them based on genre, based on mood, energy. Some people do it based on swing, based on a moment in the set, or you could do it based on an event as well. What I do now is just whenever I make a purchase, I create a folder with the date of that purchase and create a playlist in rekordbox matching that date and just put them there. And then I would go from rekordbox, go over the tracks, see which one I still like, because sometimes I would buy a track and after I listen to it on rekordbox, I'm like, this track sounds like it was a good idea to buy, but it doesn't sound like a good idea for me to play. It doesn't make sense, because I'm starting to realize that the purchasing mindset is a little bit different than the planning for a gig or planning for what I'm gonna play mindset. A track might be appealing to purchase, but not appealing to play, if that makes any sense to you. But anyway, let's move on. So here's my rekordbox. As you can see, this is my to-go 1.6, implying that I've gone through this process multiple times. This is the version 1.6. Whenever I have a gig or something, I export this folder to my SSD drive, and it has all the playlists that I would need. There are certain playlists in it that are always there, and there are some that are there based on event. For example, this Jeddah one, I only needed it for a particular event. So what I found useful is to have an intro playlist. Whenever I'm playing at a gig or something, sometimes I get nervous figuring out which track to pick. Sometimes I just play the track just continuing on the energy. Sometimes I would like to reset the energy and play something that has an opening feel to it. I've come to realize that not having that option increases my stress and anxiety whenever I'm playing. The whole purpose of organizing these tracks is to make it I want to do as little thinking whenever I'm playing as possible. So I want to have tracks that I can immediately go to, that I can start my set with, or I don't have to. Even though I have these intro tracks, sometimes I don't use them. But the fact that I have them makes me feel very safe. Makes me feel okay, if I need to, I have something that I can grab real quickly. Then I have this vinyl house. So again, there are going to be playlists here that only make sense to me. I've been getting into a lot of vinyl records that are that have this old school house. They don't necessarily go well with the other stuff that I purchased. But in that category, they work together. They make sense together. They're also all vinyl rips. What's typical of vinyl rips is that the gain might need to be adjusted because they might be a little bit lower than other tracks. So it's just nice to have it in a separate playlist, just so I know all of that going in. I use the rating system in rekordbox to imply energy, how impactful that track is going to be on the dance floor. As you can see, it ranges from 2, 3, 4, like 5 is gonna be like peak time type track. Then I have this bedroom session playlist. This is just the type of tracks that I play, that I use to record mixes. They have a distinct sound, and I figured it would be nice to have them handy whenever some friend's house or something like that, or like a laid back party. I might want to be playing some of these. The deep house one is something I need to delete. It doesn't make sense. It's just something I forgot to like work on. There's a playlist of tech house tracks, and you have the energy and whatnot. I should also like note that I try to keep most of my playlists under 200 tracks. I feel 100 track is a good sweet spot. 150 is good if you have like if you want to have like good amount of options. Once you reach 200, you're getting to an amount that's going to be like a struggle to scroll over. It's better to think of another way to segment these like tracks into different categories. Then I have minimal tracks, which can be like low minimal or whatever. They're also like a little bit of tech house influence stuff. Also with the energies. And then we have like minimal P, which is minimal peak. These are all like very hard-hitting tracks for like the dance floor. I have this folder called mid-set break, which can be handy in the middle of the set if I want to play something that has some pads, that has like that sort of brings the energy back. Not necessarily like a low impact track, but something that has a little bit less heavy on the drums, more like longer breakdowns, things like that. Then we have the first house playlist, which has house tracks that are like more on the milder side. This is like if I was opening, I think I would play stuff from here, from this playlist. What I mean by house is very specific, or like my taste in music might not be what you call house. Obviously, there are a lot of tracks that fall under this category, but the tracks that I choose to purchase, the tracks that I choose to put in this folder, I try to always make sure that they go well together. So the point is, in each playlist, all the tracks in that single playlist you should be able to play them together without feeling like, oh, what is this doing here? This doesn't belong here. This doesn't make sense to try. It should make sense to transition from any track in one single playlist to another, assuming they're not too different in terms of energy or like key, if that matters to you. Then we have house 2, which is a little bit higher energy than house 3. Again, like more energy, house peak. This is not necessarily house, this is more of like peak tracks. There's a lot of ravey stuff, there's a lot of like progressive house here. Is all like 4 to the floor. Then I have 2 folders for breaks, and break peak, breaks peak, house edit. So these are like not necessarily house, there's like some minimal edits, but it's like only 36 tracks, so like I know what is what in here. Like I pretty much know all of these tracks. The reason I have the edits in a separate folder is because I think when I'm playing, I want to be able to get to these tracks very easily. To me, edits are very handy tracks during a set. I want to know where they are, and I don't want to be stumbling upon them and like playing an edit and then playing another one. I want to know like how many I've played during the set, because I feel they're nice to play sparingly so they don't lose their impact. Then I have tracks to close. Before every gig, I pretty much go over these, I listen to them, I make sure they still make sense in whichever like folder or section they are. Sometimes I update them, I add like new tracks and whatever. If ever I like change the categorization or delete folders and whatnot, I create another to go like folder, because I like to keep them. I still have like the 1.5, 1.4, 1.3, and I still refer back to them. So that's pretty much it for me. I hope you get something out of this. If you have any questions or whatnot, just feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to know if this was helpful to you. I would love to know if you do things differently. How do you do it? I'll be very curious on hearing people's methodologies of exporting. But other than that, thank you for watching and see you next time.